Good day and welcome back to the Herbert Dennard Show. We have with us former Sheriff of Bibb County, Ray Wilkes. He recently did a book, wrote a book. The name of it is, I Didn't Save the President's Life, I Only Saved His Pants. Welcome.
Thank you, Herbert.
How did you come up with a title like that?
It came up accidentally. One day I was in South Bibb County in a car, and I was riding by myself. I was sheriff, and the office called me, and I answered them, and everybody could hear that I was on the air. And about that time, as I went to hang up the mic, I got a urgent call from Secret Service. It went something like this: Sheriff, Buster Williams, Secret Service, we're 6 miles south of the Bibb County line. We come in towards you. How about coming off the interstate, Hartley Bridge Road, grab a service station, secure the restroom, the president's got to go to the toilet. We'll be there in 4 minutes. And I said, great day in the morning. 4 minutes, how am I going to get off the interstate, find a restroom that nobody is in it, in a service station? And I began to sweat. I said, Lord, you got to help me. Well, I came off, and when I came off, I saw a Phillips 66. I whipped into the Phillips 66. I turned and blocked the pumps, and I jumped out with credentials in my hand, and there was an old gentleman with a in the grease rack with a stiff broom and some oil dry, and he was sweeping, and I said, is anybody in the restroom? And he turned around at me just as slow and said, no. I said, don't let nobody in there. So I ran back to the car and I said, come on. Buster Williams was a Secret Service agent assigned to the president. I said, come on. I've got it secured. It's the first one on the right, Phillips 66. There's nobody in there, and the restroom's secured. He said, we'll be there in 3 minutes. I said, man, that fellow must have had a pain sure enough if he's traveling like that. Great,
you gotta go, you gotta go.
And so about that time, the old fellow walks up to me and he said, what's this all about? I said, well, in 3 minutes there'll be 4 limousines, big black ones. It's going to pull in here. The first one's going to have 4 well-dressed men in it. They're going to bail out and go in different directions. They're going to take this service station back, front, inside out. And when they give the nod that it's okay, they'll open the door and the president will go in, and he's going to use the toilet. And he said, all right. So he started back to the grease rack, and he stopped again and looked back and said, who'd you say was going to use that toilet? And I cupped my hands over my mouth and said, the President of the United States. He said, all right. He went on back to the grease rack. In 3 minutes they were there. They whipped in, and just like I told them, they bailed out. And it ended up, President Carter went in, used the restroom. He came out, went to the back to the grease rack, thanked the man for the use of it, came over and chatted with me a few minutes and was gone. Well, I was trying to come up with a name of it, and I talked to Buster Williams, who's now retired and in charge of Inspector General's office. And I told Buster, I said, 40 years and no regrets, 40 years and not looking back. I came up with Mulberry with the sheriff's office, Mulberry, not Mayberry, and I couldn't hit on anything, and he said, I like the one about the president. So all your Secret Service agents are sworn to give their life in the line of duty. They'll cover the president. Bloodworth covered Johnson. When the Kennedy shooting, when Hinckley shot Reagan, the agent covered him and threw him in the car. Well, I said when I came up, I was playing with words, and I said, I didn't save the president's life. I only saved his pants. You saved his pants.
So you have this and a lot of anecdotes like this in the book?
It's filled with little short stories like that. I had one night. He called me at 2 o'clock in the morning on the radio. They said a stolen car in progress, 3486 Millerfield Road, 1023. That means hurry, it's an emergency. Stolen car in progress. We found the house right quick. It was a regular Bloomfield house. Whipped up in the front yard. I bailed out. There was an old man standing on the porch in his underwear, and he had a shotgun. And his wife was in a long nightgown with her hair down to her shoulders, and she was looking over his shoulder. And he didn't say nothing. I walked up, and he looked like he was in his 80s. I said, "What happened?" And he said, "I was asleep. We sleep in this front room right here. And Ethel woke me up and said, they are stealing our car. And I looked out the window and I see them pushing it down the road." He said, "I grabbed my shotgun, ran to the front porch, and I hollered, 'Stop! Stop! I mean stop!' Bam! Bam!" He said, "They flew." He said, "You know, it looked just like my car. His car was up under the carport." That was college students that give out the gas and trying to get into a service station. And my first thought, good Lord, how many did he kill? And I couldn't find nobody down there. They were gone.
They left the car.
I said, that man's crazy. So I put down things that I thought was of humor, and there's 130 stories in there like that. There's 400 pages.
Where can a person get this book?
The person can get the book. I'll have it's at Barnes & Noble. It's at Chichester's on Vineville. It's at Creda's Gift Shop on Ingleside. And it's at Joyce Scenes downtown on Cotton Avenue. But the book is sold real good, and I said to the now, and I'll say it over this, anybody that buys a book and don't like it, all they got to do is give it back to me, and I'll give them their money. It sells for $19.95, and the book has been a good seller. We've had the first book signed at Barnes & Noble. We sold 44 books in just a few minutes, and this one we'll have one on the 12th for just before Valentine's Day, and usually the man gives his wife candy and flowers, but she can give him a gift, which would be a book that he could enjoy reading. And hopefully this will be a successful book signing, but they kept selling out at Barnes & Noble.
Well, it sounds interesting. Sounds like you got a lot of good stuff in it. Just briefly, Sheriff Modena is the sheriff of Bibb County now. What kind of person is he? What kind of sheriff?
Sheriff Modena is a good, honest sheriff. Sheriff Modena, I hired him and he spent 30 years working for me. I never had any occasion to doubt his honesty or his integrity or his judgment. Sheriff Modena led a SWAT team that answered near 200 calls, and never was a shot fired. They was always able to talk the person out or be able to seduce that person and get him down without having to kill anybody. And I think that speaks well. Now, he's got problems. There's 55,000 people in the prison system today. There's probably 5 for every one that's on probation or suspended sentence or either some kind of a court order. And we didn't have the room for them. The jail just kept filling up. And it cost more money for the taxpayers. And he's been participating in a program on drugs, trying to give drug training to them, trying to give psychiatric training to them, and he puts in a lot of hours.
Well, he's a good man. I appreciate you stopping by. Again, this is the book.
Modena's in it.
He's in it too?
Yeah.
He got a little short story about him?
Yeah, I got several of them about him.
Okay.
And
But this is where it is, and you can pick it up at Browns and Nobles and several other places.
yeah, they'll be at
Barnes and Nobles.
Chichester's and they'll be at Creter's.
Okay. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you for letting me come by.
And thanks for stopping by.
And you can have that one.
And we'll be right back. Thanks a lot.